Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, February 19th, 2026. If you'd all please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Behringer, can we do the roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Knobloch.
Here.
Commissioner No.
Here.
Commissioner Tremmel.
Here.
Commissioner Schmolke.
Here.
Commissioner Casey.
Here.
Commissioner Roniak.
Here.
Okay, so our first item or order of business is to adopt tonight's agenda.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner No?
I'd move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a first by Commissioner No and a second by Commissioner Knobloch. Do I have all those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? Tonight's adopted agenda passes. The second item is the approval of the January 15th minutes.
Ma'am, Madam Chairman, I would approve the minutes of January 15th.
We have a first from Commissioner Casey
Second?
and a second from Commissioner Tremmel. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? And it passes. The approval of the January 15th minutes. Casey, Trumbull. Okay, so the first item on tonight's agenda under the public hearing is planning case 26-2, Crescent Ponds PUD amendment, the Fountains Homeowners Association. Mr. Behringer.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, I have before you tonight planning case 26-0002, which is a requested amendment to the Crescent Ponds PUD. So quick history here on the PUD. We are located at Main Street and University. This was originally approved back in 2008 as a 81 single-family lot development. There's an image on the right of the original site plan, and then an image taken today from some homes that are in the area. So back in the fall of 2025, last fall, a building permit was denied for a new covered porch at one of the properties within the PUD in question. This was due to setback and lot coverage requirements not being met. The applicant requested a variance at first, but staff determined that variances do not apply to PUDs, only to code that is written within the zoning code. So we had to go with the PUD amendment route. So with that, the HOA is requesting the following two amendments to the PUD. Number one, increase the lot coverage maximum from 40% to 50%. And number two, reduce the covered porch rear setback from 35 feet to 20 feet. So our staff analysis here, as you can see in your packets, all the PUD amendment criteria are met, but I think the kind of the meat of the discussion here is the two specific regulations that are being asked to amend. So the first one, lot coverage from 40% to 50%. Many of these properties within this PUD are either approaching or at that 40% already, so they are currently limited on what they can do on their properties. So this would allow those property owners to make some improvements and increase their values. 50% lot coverage is now allowed in the recently created LDR3 single-family zoning district that allows for tighter development of single-family homes. So had this had been developed under those standards, the LDR3 standards, we would have already been at 50%, and this whole case would be moot. Secondly, the rear setback going from 35 feet to 20 feet. So this would align the covered porch setback with that of the deck setback, which is 20 feet. With the substandard lot depths, many of these homes within the PUD have pretty short lots. It makes it very limiting to what you can do in your backyard on these properties. Allowing this would really have minimum impacts to surrounding properties. All of those properties that are that smaller depth have either a pond or an outlot behind them, so that they don't abut with a neighboring property. Kind of the main idea of having rear setbacks is so you don't have that kind of visual clutter in your backyard. And that just wouldn't be the case here because they would be getting closer to either a pond or an outlot that doesn't have any homes on it. So with that, our staff recommendation is that the Planning Commission recommends approval to the council for this amendment to the existing PUD, changing the regulations from number one, increasing the lot coverage from 40% to 50%, and two, reducing the covered porch rear setback from 35 feet to 20 feet, and all other PUDs, all other PUD regulations within the PUD would still apply. That's all I have for you. Any questions right off the bat?
Commissioner,
have some
any
questions.
questions? Yes.
Yes, Commissioner.
Some
Commissioner
points of
Ron.
clarification. First of all, the initial
information I received, it was proposed by an individual, and now what I'm seeing is HOA is now proposing the change.
So
Is that correct?
Mr. Commissioner, in the original application, they listed the property as the individual property owner that had the permit denied, but the actual application section of the applicant section of the application is the HOA. So the HOA is the applicant here, because this change would apply to the entirety of the PUD.
So that, what you listed here as, in follow 25 is the same unit, is what you're referring to me. The application indicated a person's name here, if I remember here, the information you sent to us, it was in the name of a person of that home. The reference you did to 2025 was on a problem they had with they started building before the approval, and then it was recommended that the HOA submit the PUD amendment.
That is correct, yeah.
Now, we're talking two different buildings, right? No, okay, so the one that was rejected because of construction early without permit is the same one we're talking about now.
That is correct, yes. So that covered porch, that they did start on construction on that before permits. That was kind of the initial precipice of this entire case. But now, if we would allow for these regulations to change, any property on there could do
Right.
what that
Is the
property is trying to do.
HOA the one now petitioning for the change?
Correct, yes.
So if this change is approved, this would cover all the units in there with that.
Correct.
The next question I have is, the deck that's there now, is it gonna be, the covered porch gonna be larger than the deck that's there? I assume there's a deck now, because they wanna cover it.
There is a partial, I guess, part of the deck is covered, part of it's uncovered. So we would consider the part that's covered a covered porch and the part that isn't as a deck. So the deck portion of that structure in the back meets the setback. But as soon as you put a roof over it, that setback increases to
So
35
there's
feet.
already a deck there that's not covered.
Correct.
So we're just basically going out to the edge of that deck and covering it.
There is currently a roof on the portion of it that they would like.
Right, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about the pad that we're working on here. We have a deck. It's set out there, and we're gonna cover that deck. It's not being increased in size.
No, it is not being increased in size. The roof is already over the portion that's gonna be covered, though. It's,
So that the original deck was approved during construction.
no, no.
I mean, there wasn't a deck when when the people bought the house?
There was not. No, many of these homes don't have either a deck or a porch on the back.
So the entire deck was being added to it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that. Yep. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, so I understand.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chair Schmolke.
Commissioner Knobloch.
I have a question for Planner Berenger. It mentions that 11 properties currently would be impacted, or not impacted, benefited from the increase from their current 40 or 43% to 50% setback. How many homes are, again, are in the development of this area?
Commissioner, we have 81 homes within the
Okay.
development.
Well,
Okay.
if this is approved, the entire HOA will be affected by it.
Yeah,
Not
they
just,
But it seems like what I'm inferring to is that there's 11 properties. If this motion goes forward and is approved as suggested, then 11 properties will have the benefit out of the 80 plus to have a further, the benefit of going from 40, 43 to a 50-foot setback.
what about the other 70 properties? If this has, it's an entire HOA, you don't
That is
approve part
true.
of the HOA, you gotta do it whatever we approve, the HOA, if they need to be, would be able to build these decks accordingly, because we're doing this as an entirety, not a portion of an HOA.
That is correct. The understanding is that the majority of them do not face butt to butt or back to back, that they have a water, like they have that, like there's a water feature, a lagoon in the middle. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, and
Okay,
those properties that have either the outlot behind them, kind of the north and eastern part of the development, those are all the properties that have that small depth
okay.
to their lots. All the properties on the kind of western edge of this actually have pretty long lots, so they wouldn't come close to their rear setback at all.
Yeah, so I really don't have a question. I was just trying to kind of get all the picture out of the whole situation, and so that there is a potential that there's more a benefit for a portion of the people in this development rather than affecting others. So
Correct.
it will be benefit all around for those who could take advantage of it.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. So no question, just kind of clarification.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Casey.
So, Mr. Behringer, just for perspective, what is the lot coverage maximum on the LDR 1 and the LDR 2?
Commissioner, that is 30%.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So
And
this
then-
PUD was originally passed with a 40% lot coverage.
Okay, so that wasn't upping it right away?
Correct.
In the agreement, okay.
Yep.
Just for some perspective.
Yep.
And then the LDR 3 now is,
That
we approved at 50%.
That's at 50%, yep. So
Yeah.
if any further development happens within LDR 3, they are at 50%.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Behringer.
Yes.
So just the one question, so I assume with the HOA that there's regular meetings and these 11 homes specifically, the owners have been probably contacted and are aware of the changes that are being proposed, correct?
The HOA did reach out to all of its members on their own. I don't know that they specifically reached out to these 11.
Okay, which would make sense.
It'd be my assumption that these 11 don't know that they are at 40%.
Okay.
It's kind of a calculation we have to do in the department based on aerial images, and most people don't
Got it.
realize.
And so we don't
the
know
calculation.
if there was any pushback from the community or anything like that that would weigh in on this at all. So
We did not get any
we're
calls.
assuming they've done their due diligence to notify, get responses, and understand what the likelihood is of being able to do this, right?
Correct, that is our understanding.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Nell.
When HOAs,
So
oh.
one moment
I did,
before-
okay, go ahead, excuse
Yep.
me.
Mr. Behringer, as you talk about covered porches and those setback requirements,
Yes.
would that include if they decided to put the foundation out underneath a covered porch? Almost like an addition where you see an addition and a covered porch on top of it? Would that be the same setback requirements?
For the foundation you're talking about?
Yeah, instead of just having a porch on piers or something, if they
Yep.
decided to do a foundation underneath it, would that still meet what you're proposing here, the 20-foot setback
That would. We wouldn't measure it from the foundation. We measure it from the structure itself.
structure? Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions?
First of all, it'd been
Commissioner
nice to have a picture of the proposed deck and coverage, in other words, in relationship to the building. But going back to the HOA, we're doing a blanket of approval, even though the other units don't need a deck or anything. But down the road, if they ever were in a position to be able to do it, this approval for this one, would give them approval for the entire HOA.
Correct,
They don't operate on one unit,
correct.
and the HOA would be the one requesting this, and they are pretty much like God. They can do pretty much what they want, so any objection by anybody else wouldn't hold, as you saw when we had these roofs a couple months ago where the HOA replaced the entire roofs without telling anybody.
Okay,
This is basically how they could operate. So in this case, we're giving blanket approval to the HOA to extend decks if they want, and the setback will be reduced accordingly. So And maybe only 11 will benefit, because the other, wherever they are, maybe they can't. So,
Thank you.
Maybe in Blaine, but not in Coon Rapids.
Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Commissioner Trammell?
Mr. Behringer, I have a question about the 11 properties that you found were not in compliance. What then would happen if we do not approve this motion?
Commissioner, those 11 properties would be considered an existing condition, non-conforming properties. There wouldn't be any action taken towards those 11 properties.
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong with this. It's just that when you work with HOAs,
Sure.
it's different.
Let's hold comments between the commission till after the public hearing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for Mr. Behringer? All right, hearing none. Do we have the petitioners or anything they'd like to present or?
Yeah, would you guys like to come up and speak? Sure. On anything? Sure, yep.
Okay.
We do have our petitioners here.
State your name and address.
State your name and address for the record.
My name is Michael Kernstock, Kernstock. My address is 235 124th Lane Northwest, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, 55448.
Thank you.
And so I'm here today on behalf of the Fountains HOA. I'm a board member, I'm the secretary. I assisted in drafting the narrative and the application itself with the help of Mr. Behringer here. We communicated throughout the process and submitted those documents. Mr. Behringer's description of what we're requesting and reasons for doing so, I found were accurate. I don't have any thing to supplement, I guess I would say. If there are any questions specifically for the board, I'm happy to answer those.
Okay. Any questions for the petitioners?
I do.
Commissioner Rania?
You had a board meeting, and this was brought up at the board, and it's been passed. You have it in your minutes.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so at this point, we will go ahead and have a public hearing on the Planning Commission Case 26-2 Crescent Ponds PUD Amendment. Anyone here for the public hearing? Anyone who'd like to speak for the public hearing?
Isn't there someone underneath that chair back there?
Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Okay, and so now we'll limit the comments to the commission. Anyone have any thoughts they'd like to bring up? Questions for the commission?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Trammell?
just hearing that the 11 properties that are already in non-compliance basically get away with it. Right now, we're looking at punishing someone who asked for permission versus asking for forgiveness. And so I don't see a problem with this one of passing through.
Thank you.
I concur.
Other comments? Questions? Commissioner Roniak?
Yes. In situations like this happens in HOAs and condo associations, where they come and they pretty much can do what they want. And this proposal is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The people that are around there really don't have much to say about this. If he's on the board, he probably understands that. The thing is that in the past, we've been reducing many things, like when we did the one over there on off of Main Street, the units were reduced in size. When we did the one last year when we were doing the subdivision over by the fire station, everything again was reduced. Things are just getting, what we have for rules, they seem to be everything is being condensed here. The lots are becoming smaller. There's more development on this. This is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with this because it's in the back. And it's going to, if it wasn't a covered porch, there could be a porch there anyways. So I think it's fine, and I would motion to approve.
We have a motion from Commissioner Roniak for approval. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second from Commissioner No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor? And the motion passes. So it's the recommendation of the Planning Commission that, for approval of the Planning Commission, Planning Case 26-2, Crescent Ponds PUD Amendment, the Fountains Homeowners Association. There will be a decision by City Council on March 3rd of 2026. Good luck. All right, so other new business, we have next the consider adoption of the 2026 Planning Commission policy. Mr. Behringer.
Yes, Madam Chair. So the Planning Commission policy has remained unchanged from last year, aside from one item. The council would like to appoint the vice chair. Previously, council would appoint chair, and then the commission would appoint the vice chair. So the council would like now to have the power to appoint both.
Sounds good. Any questions from the commission?
No.
Any other comments regarding the policy, Planning Commission policy?
Yeah, I think we should have snacks rather, in addition to the water we get here, but,
I'll second
know
that.
It's documented in the minutes now.
yeah. And the pay could be doubled.
The pay could be
I want
doubled.
120 minutes an hour.
Do we
Madam
need
Chair.
a motion for
Do we
this?
need a public hearing first? I'm assuming not, obviously.
This is not a public hearing, no.
Thank you. And then, let me just open it up for comments then across the commission. Anything else?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner No.
I would just recommend that we adopt the 2026 policy and rules of order, commission procedures and ethics.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner No and a second from Commissioner Casey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And that passes. All right. So then, that is it for tonight's new business. Is there anything that Mr. Behringer's staff would like to bring up for new business coming up?
Madam Commissioner, we didn't have anything else prepared tonight. That was it.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
I would move to adjourn.
We have a motion from Commissioner Casey and a second by Commissioner Roniak. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. And that is the final. Oh, yes.